What is going on, guys? Manga Alert Nation here, and today we are going to be talking about probably one of the greatest shonens of all time, debatably.
Black Clover.
That is debatably, man. Dang.
Actually, I was gonna say Naruto is the best shonen of all time, only because
I thought that was
you gotta believe it.
Believe it.
No, you gotta fire up, baby.
Yeah, man.
Fire up.
Anyways, in case you guys did not see the thumbnail or the title, we're going to be talking about Death Note today. But first, let me introduce our lovely hosts. We have Tazz and Gear Third Manga Reviews joining us again for the Manga Alert podcast. Of course, no introduction is necessary. All the links will be in the description below. So if you want to check out their channel,
yes, they will be descripted.
They will be decrypted in the description below. So that is right. If you are a fellow operator in the Matrix, then you will be able to decode the necessary code in order to figure out how to defeat the agents in the Matrix.
What?
Are we in the Matrix right now? Shoot. Crap.
Alright guys, so screw Death Note. Today we are going to be talking about The Matrix and how brilliant of a movie. Instead, we're not even going to be called Manga Alert Nation. We're going to be called Movie Alert Nation, where we're going to be talking about various movies going on in the universe.
Like the Death Note Netflix movie.
Oh no, I'm actually gonna watch that.
We do not talk about that here on
Light
Movie Alert Nation.
Character. I mean, not Light. His name is Light Turner, right? Light Turner's the best.
Timmy Turner.
Timmy Turner, yeah.
Alrighty.
Jesus.
We're going to be talking about Death Note today, in case you guys didn't already know.
The most plot-heavy shonen I think I've ever watched.
It is pretty plot-heavy.
It basically is plot. I mean, it wouldn't be Death Note if it didn't have plot. I mean,
12 volumes.
There's like zero fighting in the series. So I mean,
well, there's the psychological fight.
Yeah. Which is
if you
walls
want
of text.
to call that a fight, then sure, then yes. I mean, it doesn't even compete with the levels of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z in terms of battle, but it's there. It's there.
That one, they played tennis one time. That was pretty intense.
Oh, yeah, they did play tennis.
And, there was that awkward scene with Elle, of course, eating, what was it, cheesecake?
They're all awkward.
Cake?
It was cheesecake or like strawberry cake or something like that.
Yeah,
you know how Japanese is.
Some weird shit, some weird shit.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Eat it.
Eat it.
There's no normal way for Elle to eat anything in that series. He eats it. He already sits in the most uncomfortable way possible, and he eats in the most uncomfortable way possible. Like shit. What? Well, okay. Of course, this is spoiler free, or no, not spoiler free. It is gonna be spoilers.
Elle dies.
Elle dies.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say. I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna be like, well, when he's older, he's gonna have some pretty bad arthritis, but yeah, didn't really make it past. How old was Elle? Like in his 20s, right? He wasn't that old.
He was not old at all.
He was in like his 20s. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to be talking about the story here of Death Note. What do you guys think of Death Note overall as a series? You guys think it was... basically, how'd you guys get introduced to it? What got you into the whole Death Note concept?
Well, Death Note was one of the first anime I watched, and I think it was on I saw it on YouTube, uploaded on YouTube with like a weird border around it or something. But yeah, I watched it all. I watched it all in like a couple days, and I friggin' loved it. I thought it was awesome. The story was really good. I will admit, and I'm sure we'll get into this, the story doesn't stay consistent all the way throughout. At a certain point, it does get noticeably worse, but I still thought overall it was an excellent series, and yeah, I friggin' love it. It's awesome.
Back in the days when AMVs were a thing, you probably saw a lot of Death Note AMVs, for God's sakes.
I'm definitely sitting on a couple of AMVs in the summer or so.
I mean, let's talk about that brilliant opening. Like, when I first heard the Death Note opening, like, I don't even want to say it's catchy. It's just, like, gibberish and you can't really understand what they're saying. I mean,
I think it's all in English too,
it,
isn't it?
it reminds me of like a death metal rock band performing. So like every time I hear death metal, I just assume it's the Death Note opening because I can't understand anything that's going on.
My favorite videos are the ones that have that opening and then like the misheard lyrics.
Oh yeah, the white people thing and the
Those are
freaking.
great.
Oh yeah.
White
Oh,
people.
man.
I guess how I got into Death Note is during the summer. I was at a summer camp thing with, or not summer camp, just a thing with the with my job,
Was it band
and
camp?
we were.
Mm.
It was not band camp, but shoot, like we were there, like we were at this summer thing for like a weekend, and I didn't like anyone there because all the people in their job brought their families, right? So I
Because they
just
weren't
literally-
fellow weebs.
Yeah, they weren't fellow weebs at all, but I literally stayed in my room looking for stuff to watch, and I'm like, might as well watch Death Note because I've heard so many great things about it, and I binge watched it for like 3 days, and it was amazing.
Nice.
It is probably the best psychological thing I've ever had, except for the freaking half of it, but I can explain why they did that.
The best psychological thing I've ever had. Interesting.
Shut up with my
Interesting-
statement.
Interesting play of words.
Shut up.
And
As
I
you
thought
should be
Dragon
English
Ball
teacher.
Z's plot was confusing. Jeez.
Oh, man.
Okay, in terms of myself, the funny thing is I hated Death Note at first. I was just completely against the idea of reading or watching Death Note. When I was getting into manga or anime, Death Note was just starting to become mainstream. So
Right.
this was around the time, like, 2010, 2009, 2010, around that time. And I had just finished reading, of course, Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, all those good, mainstream shonens. And when Death Note was the latest thing, and it was basically a shonen without any sort of real type of battle or fighting involved in the series. And me being my young self, I was like, well, it's a shonen without any fighting. So
Yeah, fuck
what
this.
the hell is the
Ugh.
point of reading a shonen without any battles? Like, that has to be probably the dumbest idea in general. So I basically brushed Death Note under the side. I basically shunned anyone who called it the best series of all time because that's basically what everyone was doing back then. Death Note was
They're
considered...
still doing that now.
Death Note
Yeah,
was
yeah.
considered to be the second coming of Jesus. Like, that was the... Literally, in a way, if you understand in the
people
story.
think that with freaking Boruto. Oh my gosh. No one will shut
No,
up about that
Boruto
series.
is not. Yeah,
It's
no.
not. It really is not. Mm-mm.
It doesn't come anywhere close into Naruto territory in terms of likability and enjoyability.
I don't even want to touch Boruto. Like,
And then you get shunned by the fan base when you say that you have no interest in it. Like, it's sort of ridiculous. Anyways, long story short, I hated Death Note at first. I didn't like it. I didn't even want to involve myself in it. And then Bakuman finally got an English translation over here. And I actually read that series first. And I'll just be honest, I hate that series too.
really?
I really dislike Bakuman. The concept and the premise is interesting, but when they have, again, that forced romance in a shonen series, like, that was one of the few things that I just disliked about Bakuman. And then the way the story paced itself, like, the actual concept and the idea of, like, a down-to-earth concept of how the manga industry actually works is a very interesting idea, and it could have been executed a lot better. Like, to me, that is definitely a story that could be told in less than 5 or 6 volumes, but in the way all the characters develop and the way their
Yeah,
relationships
like it takes
are
place over
handled.
10 years.
Like, it's so drawn out, that series, and with the slow start it had, I gave it 8 volumes, and I read 8 volumes, and I didn't enjoy a single volume I read. I struggled
How many volumes
so
is it?
much reading through it. It's like 20
volumes, yeah.
20 volumes, yeah.
What are they doing for 20 volumes? That could literally be like a 10-volume series.
They're making
All right,
manga, man.
volume 5, we finished our first page, and then, like, by the end of volume 20, they finally finished the first volume and published it.
Wow. I bet you there's like a freaking like sequel to that in Japan
So,
that never got released.
The
or
hype
something.
died down for Bakuman. It died down for Death Note around this point. I said, you know what, I'll give Death Note a shot. I started reading the manga, quickly realized that the first half of Death Note was actually really, really good. And from then on, decided to watch the anime. And I just would like to compliment the anime. The animation in Death Note is absolutely. I love the art style.
Yes, it has one of the
It's
best
a
like camera
very like
angles and
it
stuff.
reminds me a lot. It's like a okay, so it's like taking gothic art style and like bringing that kind of rustic medieval sort of looking tone to it. I definitely like the shades of dark and the ability to mask those shades of dark with also colorful assets. The show
Mhm.
looks really nice. You need to watch it yourself to kind of understand that. And even if you don't like Death Note, you'll usually find the anime opening in a top 10 list somewhere. Very common.
Definitely.
You'll find it in one of the top 10 lists. Even if you hate SAO, you'll find the opening in the top 10 list. I mean, it's just it really
Definitely.
is one of those really in it hypes the series as well as invests like it definitely captivates you in the series and gets you really pumped into reading it and watching it. So highly recommend you guys check out the anime. But today we're going to be talking about the manga. Now, the manga itself is very interesting in the first half. I was very interested in the story in the beginning of Death Note because Light as a character, he's really a down to earth guy in the beginning of the series, and you see quickly how he changes a leaf like super fast, and
Yeah,
that
because
that
like it cuts ahead like after a week of him having the Death Note, and he's just gone like completely insane.
yeah, like his development
Mhm.
is the most interesting in the first half. However, I can't say so much the same of the second half. I like to consider that Death Note falls under two arcs, and in the amount of volumes it spanned over. It only has 12 volumes, of course.
Well, actually, I
So
like to I would the um the way Light actually in the second half is, I believe the creator meant it so he's has this god effect now that he's beaten L that he can beat anyone, and I actually did enjoy like the the development in that. I don't know how, like you said you didn't like it, right?
I think, in all honesty, I think his like Light's development he sort of stops after the first arc. In all honesty, because
I feel like his this psyche or whatever just dwindles down in the second half because he starts to have this like even more of a god effect that he can be anyone and no one can stand up to me. So he basically did the same thing to N, but N was actually like the sane one in all that, because that was when Light was very insane, and like, and that's what makes it kind of its own little, like, has like its own little finesse in the second part, because then you see like what would happen is like to a human, an actual human, when he starts feeling like an actual Shiigami where he can do whatever he wants
Hmm.
to.
And then in the end, he gets outsmarted and dies.
Yeah.
Rip.
and
The way he dies is probably the stupidest part, I think, in the second half, but other than that, I enjoyed the second
one
half.
of the things I
I
find very humorous about Death Note is, of course, the play on the religious symbolism, of course, as well as
oh
the
yeah.
whole psychological aspect. One of the things that really interested me, of course, is the fact that the difference between humanity itself and the Shinigamis that are like represented as like monsters. One of the things that really the story plays out to be is that humans are really the monsters, not the Shinigamis. Light is just a fucked
Definitely.
up dude. I mean, you could tell how easily someone like Light, it doesn't have to be anyone. It can be anyone else that could have easily picked up the Death Note and just be
Well, there were
manipulated by it in
well,
its
there were other
ability.
people that picked up the Death Note, if I remember correctly.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm just
You had that.
in the case of the story where we're talking about Light here, so
Oh,
Mhm.
him.
and
Yep.
my point is that simply that the Shinigamis, to me the biggest irony in Death Note is the fact that they're represented as like these evil looking beings when really they don't do
Yeah.
too much. It's
Yeah, they're not
it's the
really
people that are
evil.
really fucked up. I mean,
Yeah.
they're the ones writing the names in the books and killing people. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
The
And they
the
think they're doing it for a
Shinigami, they
good
just write
cause.
people's names in when it's their natural time to die. That's pretty much all they do.
Hmm.
And if they do it before it's their natural time, then the Shinigami ends up dying.
Oh, I didn't know the Shinigami could die.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's if they kill someone in the Death Note before their time is up, then the Shinigami dies. Like that's how
Humans can? Well, I guess, yeah. I guess so.
that's like when Rem kills L, Rem dies because he wrote L's name down before L was supposed to
Holy
die.
crap, I forgot about Rim.
Yeah,
Or whatever, or Ren. I'm sorry, Ren. That's her name.
right. I didn't even know it was a girl.
Oh, you didn't know that was a girl?
I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
I've been assuming her gender this entire time.
Oh,
It's a female,
goddamn.
yeah.
Alrighty. So, favorite characters from the series, and there's actually quite a few for me. I don't know. Death Note definitely has a lot of likable characters. You're either usually Team L or Team Light, but the other characters as well. The side characters, Shinigamis, hands down, they are really interesting. They're not there a lot in Death Note, but when you do get to see them in the dialogue between Light, it gets really interesting. I really did enjoy the encounters with the Shinigamis.
Yeah, Ryuk is great, especially when Ryuk first shows up. That's awesome.
I'm trying to remember this girl's name that I like. Holy crap, I can't
The
remember.
Yandere.
It's the no, not Misa Misa. No, freaking no. It's the girl that dies. That when her husband dies. Crap, can't remember her name.
Oh, she was the one who's married to the detective that he killed.
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
comes
and
after
on the
him?
bus. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was cool. I really
It-
like that part of the series where they're just sending like detectives after him, and he just ends up creatively killing them all.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, but like, um, she had this really cool arc in it. And then what happened after when Light goes to the hotel waiting for his dad, and then that girl shows up. I still can't remember her name, but when they were talking and he's trying to get her name and all that stuff, and then when he does get her name and he writes it down and she goes hang herself, dude. That
Yeah,
actually made me
that was
cry.
great. And then he like reveals
That was great, though.
himself
That was
right
fantastic.
before she dies. He reveals that he was Kira.
I know, and he's like, "You're gonna do something about it." He's like, and she's just like, "I have to go." I'm like, "Oh, Light."
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Yep. No, I mean, like I said, there are a lot of really great characters in Death Note. One of the highest
Yeah.
points in the series, for sure.
The best character, hands down, is Mello. Uh,
Mellow.
Is-
Oh gosh, Mellow
is chocolate or whatever.
is chocolate. That L wannabe.
Mm,
Have you ever noticed that L and N are near and freaking Mellow all have this addiction? What was the whole point of that? Was that just to give it personality?
I don't really know. They all had their weird thing.
at first, when Mello was revealed, I thought it was low key a girl. No lie.
I thought so too until it's everyone was saying he. I'm like, well, that's a dude apparently.
You gotta stop assuming genders.
Hey, you're the one that assumed it first, man.
Did you just call Gear a man? What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Attack helicopter. Attack helicopter. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Please use
and
my
then there's
proper
Nier,
pronouns.
the wonderful Nier.
Nier.
Nier was
don't
freaking
really-
annoying.
Yeah, I mean, he was just like a less cool L. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's hard to kind of cover or fill the shoes of L, because he was just sort of a
Didn't Nier have this? Didn't Nier have this fascination with kids' toys and stuff?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I was always surprised. Like the first time I saw Death Note, I was surprised that L dies so soon because I thought he would be around for a while. I didn't know they were gonna do this whole time skip and introduce all these other characters. I figured L would be there until the end.
I think I think that was also one of the few points that the author wanted to point out in the series, is the fact that he wanted the beginning kind of makes it out. I kind of use this. I'm trying to get this out in the most brilliant way possible, but I think this is like almost like Star Wars. This is gonna sound really funny,
Oh.
but the first part of Death Note is almost like the prequel like the prequel story. Okay, it's basically the
Oh,
birth of
New
a
Hope.
villain. It's the birth of a villain, and then the second part of Death Note is basically the way a villain falls. Okay, I mean, you take a look at Light as a character, and in the first part of Death Note, it makes it out to be like he is the most unstoppable. And again, he's comparing himself to God. He's like, oh, I'm God. I'm in control of people's lives now. And then by the end of part 2, he comes to realize quickly that he is a human, and he is still weak. He is not this all powerful being that he's making
and he
himself
realizes
out to
that
be.
right when he dies.
And that's the irony to the series, is that
Mm-hmm.
men have flaws, and men being, everyone, not men as in man, but going back to the assuming gender role, right?
So if L represents, or you can compare him to Anakin, then who is Jar Jar?
Well, clearly,
Um,
Misa Misa is,
Definitely
is Jar Jar.
Miso. Can we talk about her for a second?
Well,
Sure.
I like the way that Light just used her, but she was an annoying character. She really was.
Yeah, she was a bit annoying, but yeah, like I said, I do like how she's only really there for L to or for Light to use.
And
Like-
fan service, because she was like an idol, right?
a yandere.
Oh no, she was a model. I'm sorry, a model and a singer apparently, an actress and a TV personality. Wow.
Yeah, I kind of like how she's revealed though, as she like the second Kira, and then she makes like that video, and Light's like, well, what the crap? There's more of them.
Oh man, there's a lot of key points in Death Note that I just love. Like, there's this not plot. There's like I was saying before, Light has this like internal progression throughout the stories, and like when he first got the Death Note, he was crazy before he got the Death Note. I like, if anyone agrees with me. But when he first picks up with the Death Note and reads all of the what's it called, the rules and stuff, she tries it out, and then like I think he said he was like scared for a moment that it actually did happen, so he tried it again and again and again, and he's like, oh my gosh, I can do whatever I want. I can kill whoever I want to, and then he starts getting crazier and crazier.
And he tries to justify the killings by killing criminals and stuff.
Yeah, and then after that he starts getting all he starts to figure out that L is after him. Right. So then he starts getting more convoluted. His plan starts to get more convoluted and all that stuff. And then crap. I was gonna say something else. He starts getting paranoid. That's the word. He starts getting paranoid, right. And then after he kills L, like I was saying, then he starts thinking he can do whatever he wants,
he gets really
and all
cocky,
that stuff. And then it just cocky. That's the word I'm looking for. He gets cocky.
Yeah, because then it skips ahead 5 years where he's
5 years? I didn't know it was 5 years.
Yeah, it skips ahead 5 years. So I guess that entire time he's just been doing whatever he wants, and he's been on like top of the world. No one's been.
What was like Nier and freaking Mello and everyone else was doing in 5 years? They're just like, oh, let's just let him kill for a while.
They were pretty young, if I remember. Like Nier isn't very old. Like I'm pretty sure they were like being raised as L's successors.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, I don't know. I guess they weren't ready like until whenever. But yeah, it's interesting. One of the things I love about like the story is how the detectives, they start off with like nothing, and then they narrow it down until eventually they're suspecting Light, and he's like tagging along with them all the time and all that good stuff.
Oh, I forgot about that. He was like, oh my gosh, that just reminded me of the whole freaking him giving the Death Note to other people.
Yeah,
he losing his memory. That was the best part of the whole series.
There's so many cool things that he does.
Gosh.
Well, like they're suspecting him, they have him locked up. And then, but he has this whole plan where you could take the Death Note and his memories and then hide it somewhere. And
then, like in the anime, they're on the freaking helicopter. He gets I think he receives the Death Note because L hands it to him, and just all of his memories
Yeah,
just
I
rush to
know.
his head. And then
Yeah.
you see all of his plan, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never even thought of that.
Because he spends like a good time without his memories, and he's like actually on the investigation team to find Kira, which is so cool.
And he was like handcuffed to L, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they did that too when they were suspecting him.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I need to rewatch this series.
Yeah, I
I
know.
forgot about all of this.
Read the series. I like the
I've
the
only
anime.
read
Wait,
one volume from
this
it.
is Manga Alert, and you've only read one volume. What?
Am I the only
Yeah,
one
I only
who's-
read one
Am I the
volume.
only one who's finished the manga?
I've finished the manga, but I don't own it. Rip.
Oh, okay. Right.
Well,
But I mean, they're really
will
the
buy it
same.
eventually.
I mean, I don't think they changed anything.
They are again Death Note being the whole cinematic and with the opening and everything. It's I'd have to say it's almost like a crime series, really. When you put it into terms, like it's almost like a CSI Japan.
Yeah, 'cause
if I had to put it, it's definitely a weird, like criminal story, but it definitely is more of a captivating one. I was generally interested in the concept of Death Note, and the whole irony behind it in the first part is that really the villain is working like right behind you. It's just
I know.
it is such an interesting story, and again, we could probably talk all day about interesting plot points and interesting stories that occur throughout the series. We would be here all day, and this is just a 12-volume series. Like this,
Yeah, I know so much happens in it.
the progression and the amount of character development and the amount of time invested in each individual character is just tremendous. So the writing is done very, very well in Death Note. The art and the style is very, very good, and the anime also gets points for just capturing that really amazing cinematic CSI kind of cop, criminal show, like a crime drama. I mean, it literally feels that way when you're watching the show.
So we all seem to think that the second half isn't quite as good, but do you guys want to like elaborate a bit on that? On why we don't like
it's
it as
not
much
so
and
much
how-
that like I hate the second part. It's just not as good as the first. Like when I was first getting introduced to the series, like if someone were to recommend me to the second part and I read that first, I'd be like, it's good. I would continue to read it, but I wouldn't call it like, wow, this is actually the hype and the people calling it the best series of all time. All right, I see where they're coming from.
The thing is, you are either watching it or reading it after you see this amazing plot development with L. So you're expecting the same thing with the second part, but it's just your expectations are completely shattered, and that's probably why people don't like it as much.
Right. Like I still thought it was good, and I thought the quality of the writing was still there, but with L gone, I just don't think it was quite as interesting. But overall, I mean, I still really enjoyed most of it.
Oh, for sure.
Now, I know you guys read the manga, and I know there's something called like the eraser, and then like the life note or something like that,
Huh?
where if you erase the name in the death note, the person is alive again or something like that.
That's not a thing.
Is
That's
that
shoot,
non-canon?
then I must have been.
I feel like that's like a filler
Apparently that's not
episode or
canon.
something.
Or like fan fiction or something.
Probably
Death
because
Note
I've heard
Dojin.
something about like
The life note. Let's
but not like
pull a future diary and bring everyone back to life in the third world.
the third world.
like bringing back to our future diary discussion.
Oh God.
The creator of Future Diary should really take some notes if they ever watch from the creator of Death Note.
If you want to have an
just
impactful
imagine,
series, you need to learn to kill off your characters. Oh, and this reminds me of Fairy Tail. We never brought this up once. Is that Mashima is afraid to kill off his freaking characters. I don't understand why. He is just so afraid that he's going to lose fan base based on him killing a character off.
And there's so many characters too.
How many times are you going to cock tease your fan base, hype up a fight and a battle, and then have them lose, and then have them be brought back in the next chapter? Oh, I'm better again. Like, what?
Man,
Death Note has
Like,
death,
it's just
and
the-
when it has
it's
death,
just the-
they're gone. Okay, they don't
Yeah.
come back. There's no,
Yeah.
oh, well, they get
In the third
revived.
world.
friendship magic.
Hold on, I just find it funny, Taz, that you said that the Future Diary guy should have taken notes from the Death Note guys, because now the Death Note guys are taking notes from the Future Diary guy, and oh man, Platinum Man.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Platinum.
Oh, it's called. Oh, I just looked it up. It's called the Death Eraser.
The what?
The
What does that
Death
have to do with
Eraser, the
Gears
Death
Point,
Eraser?
though?
It's a what? Oh, I'm sorry.
I get it,
I'm
Gear.
still on
Like,
the
that
eraser thing.
is pretty funny that the Future Diary people are now copying, or the Death Note guys are copying Future Diary.
Death Note.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are they making a new series?
It's called Platinum End.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read that yet. I'm
We
glad.
talked about it. How did you
Yeah.
forget about it already, Taz?
I have a bad memory. Okay.
This is...
That was like a day ago. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hold on,
That's
so
Well,
me.
confirmed
what's
here,
this-
folks. Taz is ultimately the most forgetful host here on the podcast.
Yep. That's
Next
true.
thing you'll be quoting Double Four anime.
I haven't watched him, so
Oh, so I just looked up the Death Eraser. Apparently, it only existed in the pilot manga, so like the one shot.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it was like an idea they had originally, but then I guess they eventually dropped it.
That would have been stupid.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad they.
I mean, imagine that. Like, if that were a plot element, that'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, what if L needed to get, like,
Yeah.
a
just-
guy, like, or what if Light needed to get someone off their back, but
Right.
pretended to kill somebody and then would bring them back and just be like, oh, welcome back. Like,
Like, yeah, that's dumb.
Ugh.
And I don't think Light ever regretted killing anyone.
No.
So, yeah.
to me,
that's
that is just
He
stupid.
even killed his dad, if I remember correctly, right?
No,
Yeah.
his dad
Well,
got shot when they
yeah.
were fighting Mello.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like his
Remember
dad.
they were driving away and all that, and they were being chased and all that.
Yeah,
good
and
stuff.
his dad accepts the Shinigami eyes to see Mello's true name, and then L is like trying to get the name from him before he dies, but his dad just dies, and he's like, "Oh no!" All I
Oh
cared
man.
about
Oh
was
my
the
gosh, I
name.
remember that part because the dad's like, "I'm glad you're not Kira."
Light is just a
Yeah.
sick bastard.
I
I mean,
know.
honestly, the fact that he just uses his dad
Yeah.
just for his own personal
he's
gain
even, like,
is just.
He's even talked about, like, I know there's one point where he's like, "I'll even have to kill my family if it comes to it." Like, Jesus.
Again, like this to me is like a Star Wars story, but a reversal. Like, Light starts out like just a normal, average, everyday person, and then he just gets
Yeah.
corrupted over a book, and just like he just completely fucks himself over.
Right.
So justice was served at the end of the story, whether it was not done by L, but
Mhm.
Justice was served.
That's true.
So yeah.
Although I remember, like, the last page of the manga has like some crazy Kira cult going on. They're like, "Oh, Kira, we still worship you" or something, and that's like the last thing.
Oh, is that like Light of the New World or something like that? The
No.
next manga he made.
Wait, what?
Didn't he make like Light Up the New World or something like that?
I don't know what.
Or is that a movie?
I have
That was
no
probably a
idea
movie.
what that is either.
Oh
Yeah,
shoot.
Hold on, I'm looking at the like the last page of the manga here, and there's like this crazy hooded cult walking through someplace in the mountains, and they're just like, "Kira, our savior," and that's the last page. So that's kind of weird.
Rip. Well, I guess he did become a god in like a fictional
Oh,
metaphorical
sorry.
sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's called Death Note: Light Up the New World. Apparently, it's a new story.
Wait, what?
Oh, that is a movie. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Oh, it's a movie. Is it the Netflix one?
No, it was made in Japan on October 29th,
Oh, it's like
2016.
probably some non-canon filler story or whatever.
Man, I can't wait for the Netflix
Light
movie.
goes to the amusement park with Misa Misa.
No, that's the Netflix one. I can't wait. He's on like the Ferris wheel.
Oh, let's talk
like-
about the Netflix movie or whatever it is.
I haven't watched it, honestly.
Oh, it's not out.
It's not out yet.
I haven't even seen the trailer.
Oh, really?
I
it's out.
saw
Actually-
the thumbnail and it looked pretty cringy, not gonna lie. But the whole white lash bullshit
Oh, that's
and all
dumb.
that.
That's
You know,
I mean,
I'm getting really tired of like people complaining about just basic everyday actors. To them it's a job, and they're
yeah.
playing the characters that they were casted for.
And the thing I don't get
Clearly,
about Death Note, like Death Note doesn't have to take place in Japan. I mean, there's nothing about it that like ties it to Japan. It could really take.
That's like if a black person goes to like freaking, I don't know, watches like what's a show with all white people saying it's a whitewash. It's stupid.
Full
I
House.
know, and it's like if it's
Yeah,
gonna,
like Full House.
if you're gonna make it in America and it's gonna take place in America, then why would you hire a Japanese cast?
Exactly.
Like,
Well, this is my point. If there were Asian actors that auditioned for the role, clearly the guy who was the white guy was the better actor. Plain and simple. He got casted as the role by people that they were all auditioned, and he clearly was the better of the actors that auditioned. That's why he got the role in the first place. There's no real racist whitewash commentary going on in Hollywood. There's no secret society in Hollywood like, oh well, we're taking
like,
all these
the
Japanese
thing with Ghost
films.
in the Shell pissed me off a good bit. I'm like, no, they didn't cast Scarlett Johansson because they're racist. They cast Scarlett Johansson because she's Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she's famous. But yeah, no. Well, I will say this about the Death Note: it does look cringy, and it'll probably be terrible. But casting Willem Dafoe as Ryuk is the greatest casting choice I've ever seen. That is amazing. That is perfect.
I do agree with that. Oh my gosh, yes.
He was like born to play Ryuk.
Yes.
So, anyways, getting off topic of that, let's go ahead.
It was on topic, man.
Well, I mean, this is called the Manga Alert podcast, not the Netflix Alert or the Anime Alert podcast. This
Coming
is the
soon.
Manga Alert
Netflix
podcast,
alert.
where we talk about manga.
Do Nava Alert podcast. All right. What else is there to say in the freaking manga?
I mean, really, honestly, there isn't a whole lot of bad to say about Death Note. I will say that the ending is kind of
Yeah.
it's expected. It's very much
Yeah.
expected. Like, that after the second arc drops in Death Note, it's going to be a tragic end to Light.
I just wish
it's clear.
I just wish, because Light is like so clever throughout the series. I kind of just wish it took more to defeat him than just like swapping out the book for a fake.
Yeah, I do agree.
I wish there was a little bit more to how they beat him than that.
like legit. Like, how about this? Like, what if it went full on shonen and like he became like a buff ass fighter in 5 years? Like, he trained as like a monk or something, and it actually became a shonen at that point, where it's like, I am the most powerful being in all the universe, and you must now challenge me. And they just have like a badass like martial arts tournament or something.
There you go. That would be great.
That's gonna be the not Death Note parody.
Not Death Note parody. Man.
Hey, if Soul Eater could do it, so could Death Note.
I do have a couple questions
Soul
to
Eater
ask you
not.
guys though for Death Note.
Sure.
Do you guys believe that Light was actually Justice?
No.
Oh, am I the only one that agrees?
He got
that he
dude. Were you not listening to my point at all in the beginning, where I was like, "This guy is like fucking Darth Vader"? I mean, shit.
Well, I know he's.
He
like
was
Darth
killing
Vader,
younglings.
Oh my god.
And
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them.
I hate
mean,
sand.
I mean, like, okay, so the only reason why I say he's Justice is because his reasoning was right, but the way he does it is not right.
I see, but the whole point is that his justice is that he's killing criminals, but at the same time, he is really the monster. Because what these criminals are doing is, sure, they're killing people and they're taking other people's lives, but what are you benefiting from when you ultimately take away the justice system, you take away due process, and you take away any sort of rights whatsoever, so that you pretend that you're the real God in all this, and that really you control people's lives? He is really the monster in all this. His sense of justice is false.
And he does start killing innocent people eventually if they get in his way.
Well, that's actually what I'm about to say. He did stand for justice at one point, but then, like I said, with his his actual psyche, it went down because he started killing everyone once L showed up, anyone that got in his way.
Killing others to me is not really justified. I mean,
Yeah, you're sort of
at one
doing-
point in the story, I mean, it was like, I think in the first volume, it was like when it was the biker dude or whatever. Like, he wasn't really a convicted criminal, was he?
Yeah,
Like,
he was just being a douche.
he was just a douchebag,
That's-
and he
well,
was
that's what I was
basically
saying.
caught in the whole
Yeah.
crossfire of everything, and he was like, oh, let me
Jeez.
test the book
Do you
to
know how
see
many
if it
people-
works. Like,
Jeez, if you were to kill all the douchebags on the planet, we'd be friggin'.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we killed all the douchebags, apparently we wouldn't have conservatives, in the universe.
True.
Well, that's what I was saying at once L, like publicly attacked him, then he started using the Death Note for killing innocent
Alright.
people.
I mean,
Like, also,
I
like-
gotta disagree with that point, Taz, because I still think that Light he was well aware of what he was doing. I mean, once he found out that the Death Note would actually kill people, and he would continue to say, like, with a philosophy as silly as, oh, I'm gonna take out all the criminals, but if anyone comes after me, like, oh yeah, I might kill them too. Like, to me,
No,
that's definitely a false.
I'm-
That's definitely
He kills,
that's a
like-
wolf walking in a sheep's cloak. Like, come on now,
And
you can't.
He kills like a shit ton of people before L catches on to him because like
Yeah, but they were criminals though.
yeah,
So
but
he-
then-
Yeah,
at one
but
point
again,
stand for
we
justice.
get what you're saying, but how is killing criminals justified?
just
How
Well,
is
Okay, yeah,
how
you got
is
a point.
how is taking someone's life, no matter what, no matter what they've done? I mean,
Yeah.
there's no justice in that. You don't really get anything from killing anyone. I mean, that's why we have the prisons and the jail systems for a reason. Like, I mean, due process.
Mhm.
yeah, true. Maybe my own psyche's terrible. Maybe I'm the next Kira.
Oh shit.
The next Hitler.
Oh crap. The next Hitler. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Alright, and the next question I wanted to ask you was, should there be a sequel to Death Note?
I don't really think there needs to be like in the same universe. I mean,
There wouldn't be a continuation of Light and L's story. That was
Well,
definitely
yeah.
concluded.
or else
but-
it's stupid.
In the sense that someone else, like maybe like a little glimpse of the past Shinigami, the one
Like-
who gave Light the book, maybe he gives somebody else the book. Okay?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like we do see the like Kira cult at the end of the manga, so maybe we could see the effects that Kira has had on the world after he left.
And it could be like a one shot or something.
Yeah,
I think
like
there is one though.
There could be that.
No.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
we're gonna go ahead and give our ratings for the series. I'm gonna jump right into this one. I'm gonna give the series a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I was sort of surprised by it when I first read it because, like I said, I had very mixed impressions of it. I was not wanting anything to do with Death Note, and
Right.
when, of course, I first read the series, I was completely just captivated by the story, the art style. Absolutely amazing and moving story. Character development is solid.
it is
Characters
very unique for a
are
shonen.
really cool.
Yeah.
And for a shonen that has absolutely no fighting in it, it was definitely a solid series. So, hands down, definitely one of my favorites. Not top 10, but top 20, I would say, of series of all time. Definitely a really good series. So,
I gave it a 10 out of 10. Yes, for both the anime and manga. I really did enjoy it.
I gave it. Well, I reviewed Death Note on my channel like ages ago, like 2015, and I still stand by my score. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Like it does dip in quality a little bit near the end, but I just think of all the clever moments, all the great characters, all the awesome stuff that happens, and overall, I just think it's fantastic. And I mean, it's
Actually,
so,
I like. Oh, I'm sorry. I like to take my score away from the manga and give it an 8. I forgot I did that.
Tazz is.
I'm sorry.
I swear, we're going to get a guy in the comments who's like, Tazz keeps changing his score every episode. Like, he gave Future Diary like a 9. Like, what'd you give Future Diary? An 8 or a 9? I can't. And then, like, in the second episode, you
I
gave
gave
it
it a
like a
9.
7. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I changed my mind a lot. Okay.
yeah, we can tell.
You should rename the channel Tazz the Undecided Reviewer.
There we go.
The undecisive. Yep. Oh well, okay.
Alrighty.
You can continue, Gear.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much all we got to say about Death Note. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Oh yeah.
Wait, Gear had more to say though, didn't he?
I don't think.
Oh,
Did I?
okay, because I cut
Taz,
you
you got to
off.
think about this for a minute. You got to use that brain of yours, okay?
Oh crap! Now I can't remember. I'm gonna be editing this and be like, oh shit! I forgot about that really awesome point I was gonna bring
Oh,
up.
yeah?
Well, crap. I'm
Rip.
sorry.
Oh, well.
See, this is what you do, Taz. You make people forget. Never forget.
Who are you again?
I
What?
am Cougar.
You're a cougar? That's kind of weird.
I'm Cougar.
Oh,
Oh.
interesting.
Anyways, guys, thank you for joining us today on the Manga Alert podcast. Once again, we're going to do an aftercast because, you know, we like to spend a little more time talking about the interesting things going on our channels, going on in life. You know, just talking about the bare things that us adults have to go through on a daily basis. Now that Neptune isn't here, we can actually make this an 18-plus podcast.
Oh,
So we're going to be going into some pretty censored territory here. So anyways, if you guys want to click off this, we're no longer going to be discussing Death Note as of now. Thank you guys for watching from this point on. But hey, if you're a cool dude and you know you want to support our channel, make sure you guys go and subscribe. And of course, a word from our sponsors. We got Tazz over here with that Patreon. Go donate $1. Go donate some sriracha because, you know, we all need to stay hungry. Eat some good food. You know,
freaking sriracha's delicious.
so, you know, go and support his channel. You know, go donate $1. Donate your whole life savings. Donate your 401k even. Like, just go support his channel so that he can build up the assets for Team Old Shaman, because that is really what matters here.
I'm actually Team Gear, but okay.
Well, Team Gear doesn't exist. It's fake news, so, you know. It was a Twitter hashtag started by, of course, you know, one of the Gear bots, so.
Gear bot.
Who knows what gear we're even
Probably is
speaking
one.
to right now? I mean, this is probably like
That
Fifth
is
World
true.
Gear, Universe
We're trying
10
to-
Gear, or something like that.
Jesus.
Edalus Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Gear, maybe?
Alright.
Evil Gear.
Gear Black, maybe?
Gear Black.
Gear Black.
Confirmed
start
in the
calling
Manga Alert
myself that.
podcast. Gear Third
I'll
Manga
rename my
Reviews. After
channel.
after he loses the
I'll-
war, we'll have to rename his channel Gear Black.
Gear Black. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
So last Aftercast we were talking about Uncharted. I just wanted to.
Oh, I beat Uncharted today. I beat Uncharted 2 today.
Wait, did you finish it?
Yeah. I did.
Cool.
On crushing mode. And,
I fucked up so many times in this podcast.
That you did, Taz.
okay.
That you did.
It's okay, Taz. It's okay.
But it's okay. We're all human, and that is the biggest thing about, you know, life itself, is that we're all human and we make mistakes.
Also,
I should really write down stuff because there's some points I wanted to get across, but I forgot.
it's fine. You can just leave a lengthy comment down below.
Oh, a lengthy
And
comment.
have
What I
like two
meant
people
was-
read it,
Yep, pretty much.
and then have one of those two people complain about that comment.
Yeah. No,
probably
there'll be
YouTube.
someone complaining that Taz didn't say enough stuff without reading his big long comment.
Yeah, sure, probably.
Okay, I have to bring up a complaint I have with YouTube. My Humanity's Last Surprise video, the mashup with Attack on Titan and Persona 5 I made, it's since last night it's gained about 1,000 views, and
Dang.
I don't get it. It's just a shit post, and it has more views than most of my other videos that I actually put work into. Like, what's the deal?
I
Yeah.
hate that about YouTube. You put so much work into videos, and then the one that you don't care about usually gets the most views.
I
I'm
know.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah, I would like to kind of add to that, and it's just like whenever I do a scripted video or I try to be original and actually
Yeah.
make a well thought out video, they tend to not generate as much popularity as like
shit
my manga
posts.
haul videos
Yeah.
or my collection videos
Yeah.
or like.
The manga hauls, they always, cause you know, random people are just going watching a bunch of them, right?
Mhm.
Like like I try to be original as possible,
Yeah.
and at least with the tags, I can try and be, I can
Yeah.
kind of be comedic and kind of add my own take on it.
Mhm.
I mean, there really isn't a whole lot you can really do with unboxings. I mean, like literally, you're watching some dude open a box and
And
take
talk
out
about it for like 10
books.
minutes.
Like, well, most of the time they talk about the actual box itself for 10 minutes, and I'm just like, well, what the hell is this? Just get to the shit that's inside. We don't care about Amazon custom 1-day shipping packaging. Like, shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it just sucks because like a lot of the video, like I put the most work into probably my full series reviews, and a few of them are really popular, but most of them get like 200, 300 views or something. Then you have my shitpost videos, which is now it's probably gonna hit 2,000 overnight. I'm like, but why? what?
Why?
I mean, I made a really shitty Joe joke video that's like a minute long, and it was literally just me taking 2 clips and inserting them and cutting the time, and that generally got fairly well recepted.
Yeah.
Recepted? Got recepted, guys. The reception on that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't know. I don't know what YouTube really wants. I don't know if it wants content creators with original stuff, or they just want people doing the exact same thing and generating subscribers and views from that. So
Also, I mean,
remember-
the whole manga community, a lot of it is just like the same stuff, pickups
And I hate
collections.
that, dude. I noticed that when I first started my channel. I'm like, why are we all doing the same things?
Yeah.
That's why I made that Dear Tazz video, because I'm like, screw all that. I'm doing whatever I'm doing
and
now.
I'm not trying to have like a oh woe is me kind of deal, but it's like for the people that are successful in the community, like Mr. Celia Senpai, Lotus, and
Insidious.
Insidious.
they can do unique stuff
Yeah.
and
They just
try
choose
new
not to.
things because they're an established community,
Right.
and they know that about 60 to 70% of their subscriber base is still going to tune in and watch that video.
Yeah, like I've noticed that too with my channel. Like there's always a big group of people who watch every video and stuff. Like I do usually get a couple hundred views per video, but I mean still, when you compare it to my collection and my pickups videos and all that stuff, it's like a whole bunch of other people. I'm like, who are you guys? What?
Exactly. Like, I think the only videos that have at least 100 are always my collections, my actual sustained industry hauls, and then that's pretty much it. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Why do they care
It's
about that?
interesting. And then like you also have to keep in mind, like not everyone's gonna watch every video you make. Like I mean, I don't expect everyone to watch my Attack on Titan review just because not everyone reads it or is caught up or cares about
Yeah,
it.
but dude, with 1,000 subscribers, like you expect like at least half of everyone to watch it, or at least like
maybe.
like
Well,
300 or so.
Well, right now, and it's also weird because it also depends on like when you upload them. Like I've had Attack on Titan
true.
videos get like 5,000 views, and some just get like 200.
Mhm.
I think it very much depends on the relevancy of the topic as well.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Don't do a chapter review back from like
Yeah.
it would almost like be like if you uploaded a One Piece chapter 1 review, like no one is going to watch that.
Yeah, or if you
I'm
reviewed,
sorry.
if you reviewed like an older arc or something. Like,
Like-
I've seen people like I mean I don't care. People can do whatever you want. If you enjoy it, that's fine. But I've seen people review like, oh, it's the I'm gonna review the Foxy Pirate arc. I'm like, oh,
gosh.
okay.
It's just very difficult for
Yeah.
manga reviewers
hard.
that actually like do chapter reviews
Yeah.
weekly.
And it's
It's a difficult position you're put in because it's like, well, do I jump in late? Do I start
Yeah.
reviewing chapters starting now that are like currently going, or do I go all the way back to the start and start reviewing it? Like,
yeah.
it's a very difficult place to
and
be.
I don't really like doing like I stopped doing any weekly reviews I used to do. The only like continuing series I review every month is Attack on Titan, just because there's so much to always talk about. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna bother. You're always too rushed and all this crap, and so I don't really care
And
about
then
it
you have
anymore.
like 50,000 other people reviewing the same
Yeah.
series, so it's like
yeah, I know it's really
just the same.
saturated.
I've noticed this with Insidious Swede, but like whenever he reviews manga, he always says the same stuff that everyone else says. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I might have. I occasionally watch some of his.
Because
That's
I
another
don't
thing.
watch him as much.
Yeah, there's
as
like so
everyone else
many.
does.
There's like so many people I'm subscribed to that I want to support, but it's also like, oh my god, there's so much, and it's so much.
The
of
manga
it's so
community
similar.
has grown tremendously
Quite a bit.
in
It
just
has, yeah.
the past 4 or 5 months.
I know there's so
many
people.
up and coming YouTubers. I mean, Blood is a good example of this. I mean, a lot of
Dude,
people
I
are
love
great
his content.
people.
We should-
A lot of people in this community are good examples because these people started out with like 20 or 30 subs, and then they got discovered.
Buy in Studio Swede. Find you. Like RX, Blood, Aloof, everyone.
I mean, pretty much, and they just grew overnight.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's interesting.
it-
yeah.
I didn't get discovered by shit, okay? I got discovered by nobody. I
Oh.
gained my subs, I would like to say legit, you know, but
Because yeah, like I have a lot of subscribers, but I mean I'm almost at my 2-year anniversary now. Like
I mean, shit, Gear didn't get recommended by anybody.
I've been here
Oh.
for a while.
I did, like, I'm not gonna lie, I did get discovered by Aloof, I think it was, and
Right.
and I just did that collab with Apollo and It's That Net, people
Well,
with like a lot of
It's
subs,
weird.
and then
I
that's how
got
I gained
discovered
subs.
well before the main manga community. I got discovered by like the Attack on Titan crowd. Like
Mhm.
there were a bunch of them going around, but that sort of community sort of died because like all the people who were making videos just like stopped. So probably because they were only making videos on one series and got burnt out on it.
Mhm.
But yeah, then you guys came along, and you know that's been cool.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
hope from here on out we can grow our channels, hoping to maybe hit that 300 sub mark by the end of the month. Who knows?
I'm hoping to make that 200 mark.
Maybe
at the
I
end of the
will,
month.
maybe I won't. We'll see. Anyways, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the aftercast. Thank you again for joining us today. If there's anything else that you guys would like to hear from us, go ahead, recommend that in the description below. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to our channels, give us some support, give us some feedback. We always read our comments. So if you guys have anything to
Yes,
say,
always.
just let us know. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us on the Manga Alert podcast. Take it easy. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Peace out.